So at this point, I was getting into all the different thrash bands, and I was wanting to go deeper. So I was getting bands. So after Testament, then I started getting like I got the New Order by them, then Dark Roots of Earth, and then just started picking them up from there. But I also started getting Death Angel albums. I got Act Three, um, The Dream Calls for Blood, and yeah. And then I realized I was like, well, there's still some Metallica albums, the good Metallica albums I don't have. I didn't have Kill 'Em All, and I didn't have Injustice for All. So then I bought those on iTunes, unfortunately. And then yeah, so then that was kind of like where my infatuation of the band peaked. Oh, and then my friend gave me a Death Magnetic, the CD, because he wanted it, he bought it, but then he didn't want the CD because he just bought it to import it. So then he gave me that, and so then yeah, so then I had all of their good albums. So this is kind of where my love for the band peaked. I was starting to get into other music. I was actually starting to get into a little bit. I was starting to dabble in more extreme music. I'd started listening to Children of Bodom and At the Gates. Not very much, but I bought two of their live I bought their live albums, and then I was starting to really get into that. But it wouldn't like explode until later. So then my I got the chance to go see Metallica. Um, Summer after 10th, or not summer, it was during 10th or 11th grade, I want to say. And yeah, so Metallica was playing the Rock in Rio festival in Las Vegas. This was the first year it was being done in Las Vegas. And that wasn't that far of a drive for me, living in Utah. So I went, so me and my dad took me to that. And it was a music festival with lots of various bands, and this is when I started to get into more extreme music, if you will. So the band that were playing, it was eclectic. The first band to open was Of Mice and Men, which I had kind of like this like idea about metalcore like kind of sucking. I'm still like I'm not a fan of metalcore, but this is the only metalcore band that I consider metalcore aside from Trivium that I like, and it was because of this. We were right up front, and it was an insanely heavy. It was the You could feel the bass in your chest. It was so heavy, like so loud and pumping, and I loved it. There was so much energy, and then at the end, my dad caught a drumstick, which is up in this concert box that I made. Um, my dad caught it and he gave it to me, and so then after that, the band Coheed and Cambria played. I was like, okay, and then there were a few more bands. I didn't listen to them or I didn't care about them, but then Sepultura came on, and I had never really listened to Sepultura at this point. I I thought that they were, I don't know. I feel like I mixed them up with Mastodon or something for some reason, but I thought that they were like a I thought they were like a maybe like a progressive type of thrash band. I'd never heard of them, or I'd heard of them. I just had never listened to them. And of course, what they were playing the Derek Green era stuff. So then they played it, and then it was it was it was to me it was pretty brutal. It was like I was like, is this death metal? And that was like, and it in a sense it kind of was like the era they were playing it sort of was. It was like a deathy. I mean, it was like a hardcore death metal type of stuff. So that was at this point in my metal career, it was the heaviest thing I'd ever listened to, and all because I went to the Metallica concert. I wouldn't have listened to them otherwise. So part three.